Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow YouTubers, Facebookians. Aries here. First of all, this ain't the video blog yet. This is just a blog for something called New Year's resolutions. The first of it for my channel. We did one for Living Simply and Fun. New Year's resolutions is going to be simple this year. It's also going to be countered with purchasing and other issues. First of all, I want to say my resolutions are I'm going to try to better myself this coming year, if it's possible. And not try to mock people at times for being angry. Next, I wanted to say, comes to purchases. A lot of people have asked certain issues, and I want to get to clarifying a few things about purchases. That's right. First of all, I've had people ask me, well, you know, if you're on disability or something, shouldn't you skip making a lot of purchases? You know. And my answer is simple. It depends on what you're buying and how much. Sometimes, like today, me and Aaron were talking about purchases on certain issues. Like we were talking about fishing rods. Fishing rods can vary from $30 up to like $4,000. So if you went and did a payment plan and had a custom rod built that cost $4 grand, it took 4 years to build, people would say, oh, well, over the course of 4 years, you spent $4 grand on a pole. That's $1,000 a year. Well, that's all hunky-dory, but here's the problem with it. Will it make you a better fisher person? No. The rod does the same job. It's like one guy talking about a custom 1911 pistol. You can buy one, spend $7 grand for it, or you can go out and buy a factory basic for $4.99 made in the Philippines. It does the same jobs. It does defense. You can take this out, that out, interchange this, fix that, tweak that, fart around with that. You can make it as good as a $4,000 or $7,000 or $10,000 job. But a lot of people say, oh, the best is the best. You can't compete.
It's the aesthetics and feel.
It's like fly rods, for example. You can buy a nice fly rod. You can spend $200. You can get your starter rod. Maybe the next month after that, you buy another $200 rod. Eventually, you end up with all the starter rods. You use them for the entire life, and maybe you update your rods once in a while. But then one day you see a nice pole, and you think, oh, this feels good. Does the same job as the other one. The only difference is it's a lot lighter. They make them lighter and lighter and faster, and these expensive ones are for competition, for example.
One looks nicer?
Most of them look the same color. So, when it comes to certain purchases, you know, you got to ask yourself if you're on disability or not, if you can afford something that expensive or not, you know.
Well, you've seen some of them mud hole with the blue and white, like tie-dye all the way down, and there's some really pretty poles at the mud hole.
Exactly. Custom-made mud hole poles. I mean, yes, the bamboo ones are really nice, for example. Me and Aaron were talking about, would it improve my fishing? No,
and
it
again,
wouldn't.
those look totally different too, but they're expensive. And they're mostly because of feel. They feel totally different, they're lighter, and they snap better.
No, the reason they're lighter is because of, they're used more, but when graphite took over in 1957, I think it was, people wanted ones that can launch their line out a lot farther, 10 to 20 feet longer, so they went graphite. Eventually, you know, it took over and bamboo was getting harder and harder. The real reason bamboo was getting harder, not that you guys would care about it, is simple. Bamboo got more harder to get on the grounds that it was very expensive. When China was overthrown by Mao Zedong, Mao Zedong did not want any part of America until Nixon took over. In 1970s, when the Americans started doing business in China, and Mao was still alive at the time, he allowed it with Nixon's opening the trade agreements that the bamboo cane would be used for different things. From that time on, it got more and more expensive because of import tariffs, taxes, and more. So, and on top of that, the reason that they're expensive is not that you just get your bamboo, but as soon as you get it, it's stored in a warehouse in China and dried. When it's ready, it's loaded on a boat for Seattle, then it's dried in another place for 3 years. Eventually, it gets loaded on a truck and shipped off to the bamboo makers like R.L. Winston.
And then it can take up to a year to make them, and there's over like I think it was 6,000 processes in making one.
6,000 processes just to make one bamboo fly rod. And one guy said it takes him 60 plus hours just to build one.
And if you're interested in learning more, we highly recommend watching a documentary
Called
called
Troutgrass
by Andy Royer, who happens to be the sole importer of the bamboo that is used for making these. He was one of the producers and directors of it, and he starred in it. And it was extremely informative. So highly recommend that. And it's also got a lot of beautiful scenery. And the guy that they had making it has an Eskimo dog, like this
we
one.
call him an Escapooper.
Oh, and he's bleeding again.
So, anyways, comes to things like this. This is New Year's resolutions, you know, New Year's resolutions fused with purchases. You know, I mean. Should I buy more video games? Yes. Should I invest in a trip? Yes. Should I invest in other things? Possibly. I have to weigh the pros and cons to everything because everything you do has a negative reaction. So I got to look at everything, you know, on that aspect, and then go from there. So this is about New Year's resolutions and purchases and, you know, etc. Fly rod fishing is something I'm interested in, you know, but you don't need to have the top of the line of anything to make it work. That's a resolution people should look at. They shouldn't just fork out $7,000 to $10,000 or even 50 grand for the new 4K TVs when they don't even utilize the 4K yet on the news channel. So yes, anyways, there you have it. New Year's resolutions, purchases, and advice. Please add and subscribe if you like. Please post comments in the box if you like. And please add me as a friend if you like. Thank you and have a nice day.